The sky over the old city was a strange color, not blue, not gray, but a deep, glowing red. Smoke and dust rose from broken buildings, and the wind carried a cold, sharp smell that made the few remaining humans shiver. People whispered in the shadows about a creature that had returned after centuries of silence. They called it a dragon, though no one had seen one for hundreds of years. Legends said dragons were monsters, fire-breathing beasts that destroyed everything in their path, but what rose from the ruins this night was something different. It was taller than any building, with scales that glowed like molten metal. Its wings stretched across the sky, making the clouds dance in strange, fiery patterns. And yet, it did not roar or attack. It simply stood, watching, as if waiting for something. Soldiers patrolled the empty streets, their weapons trembling in their hands. Captain Elias led them, his eyes fixed on the creature. He had fought in many battles, but nothing like this. The dragon was alive, but it carried no anger, no hunger for destruction. Instead, it seemed to breathe life into the ruined city. Wherever it passed, cracks in the pavement healed, and small green shoots emerged from the broken concrete. Birds, long absent, began to return, circling cautiously above the dragon. The people watching from their hiding places felt a strange mix of fear and awe. Was this truly a monster, or something else? Rumors said it only appeared near the dying. Some claimed the dragon could sense the end of life and rise to claim it. Others whispered that it carried the souls of those who had vanished, a guardian of the lost. Elias could not decide what to believe. He remembered the old records he had read in secret, tales of humans who had tried to change the world through science. Experiments that went too far. Maybe this dragon was one of those experiments. But if it was, it had changed, evolved beyond anything humanity had imagined. The wind shifted, carrying with it the sound of metal scraping against metal. From the shadows, a small group of scouts approached the dragon, their eyes wide with fear. The dragon turned its head slowly, and its eyes glowed like twin suns. The scouts froze. None could speak. The dragon exhaled a warm, shimmering mist, and the air around them felt lighter, almost alive. Plants in the cracks of the streets began to grow faster, twisting and curling toward the dragon, as if drawn by an invisible force. One scout reached for his weapon, but Elias grabbed his arm. "Don't," he whispered. "Not yet." The dragon's gaze fixed on Elias, and for a moment, he felt a strange connection, as if the creature could see into his thoughts. He saw flashes of past battles, the faces of people he had lost, and then something else, visions of a future he could not understand. The streets were alive again, buildings repaired, children running and laughing. Elias shook his head, trying to clear the images. It had to be a trick of his mind, but deep down, he knew it was real. The dragon was not here to destroy. Then, without warning, a low hum filled the air. The ground vibrated beneath their feet. The dragon spread its wings slowly, creating a gust that knocked the scouts off balance. It lifted into the sky, and for the first time, it let out a sound, a long, deep resonance that seemed to echo inside every human heart. The sound was not a roar, not a growl. It was something else, something powerful and sad, filled with a knowledge that humans could not yet understand. People hiding in the ruins covered their ears, but they could not stop the feeling that washed over them. Fear and hope mixed together, creating a tension that made their hearts race. Elias watched as the dragon hovered above the city, its eyes scanning every corner. Then, with a speed that seemed impossible for a creature of its size, it vanished into the night sky, leaving only a trail of glowing light behind. The scouts looked at each other, pale and trembling. "It's gone," one whispered, but Elias shook his head. "No," he said, his voice firm. "It's not gone. It's watching. And it will return." Somewhere in the distance, a child cried, not in fear, but in wonder. The dragon had left a mark, a promise that the world was not yet finished. Elias knew that whatever came next, humanity was about to face something it had never imagined. And in that moment, standing in the ruins with the wind carrying the dragon's strange glow across his face, he understood one terrifying truth: this was not a monster. This was the beginning of something far greater. something humanity had never dreamed of. Something that could change everything. And the question that burned in his mind was simple, yet impossible to answer. Was humanity ready for it? Captain Elias could not stop thinking about the dragon. Its eyes, glowing like molten gold, haunted him even in the quiet moments. The city lay in ruins, but the dragon had breathed life into parts of it. Plants grew through cracks, water ran clearer, and the air felt lighter. Yet fear remained in the hearts of the people. They called it the Endbringer, a monster that could destroy the last human colony. Soldiers whispered among themselves, arguing about whether it was a creature of death or something more. Elias did not know what to believe. He had always been a man of duty, trained to follow orders without question, but this was different. The dragon was not just a threat. It was a mystery, a puzzle that refused to be solved. Orders came from the colony leaders: hunt it, destroy it, and secure the future of humanity. Many soldiers obeyed without hesitation, eager to prove themselves. Elias led his squad through the abandoned streets, scanning every shadow, every ruined building. Their boots crunched on broken glass and debris, echoing through the silent city. He remembered the whispers of the survivors, people hiding in basements and tunnels. "It does not kill without reason," they said. "It only comes where life ends." Elias frowned. Could it be true? Could this creature, feared for centuries, actually be something more than a killer? As they moved deeper into the city, the squad noticed strange signs. Small animals, long gone from these areas, appeared. Birds perched on ruined rooftops, watching them with curiosity. Flowers bloomed where no soil existed, and water shimmered with an unusual glow. Elias's heart raced. He could not explain it, but the dragon's presence seemed to heal, not harm. That night, the soldiers set up camp near the outskirts of the city. The red sky glowed faintly behind the distant mountains. Elias sat alone, thinking about the dragon. Memories of old wars, lost friends, and the destruction of their world filled his mind. He wondered how one creature could hold such power. Was it a weapon, a miracle, or something else entirely? The next morning, they found traces of the dragon's movement. Huge footprints burned into the earth, glowing faintly as if filled with fire. Elias crouched beside one and touched it. The warmth was not dangerous, but alive, pulsing gently under his hand. The squad stayed silent, watching the ground in awe. The dragon had been here recently, but there was no destruction, no death. Just life. They followed the trail through broken streets and crumbling buildings. Soldiers whispered in fear and wonder, but Elias led steadily, his mind racing with questions. What was this creature? Why had it appeared now? And most importantly, what did it want? At the edge of the city, they came across a small group of survivors. They were weak, sick, and desperate. Their eyes widened when they saw the soldiers. "It's coming," one woman whispered. "The dragon. It is near." Elias knelt beside her. "We are here to protect you," he said. She shook her head. "Protect us? No one protects anyone anymore. Not from it. It chooses who lives and who dies." Elias's stomach tightened. Could it be true? Could the dragon choose life and death at its will? He felt a strange unease. His mission was clear: destroy the creature. But how could he harm something that seemed to heal, to protect, to watch over the living? That night, as they slept in a ruined building, the dragon appeared again. Its wings stretched across the sky, glowing like fire in the darkness. Elias woke first, staring at it from the broken window. The creature did not move toward them. It hovered, its gaze sweeping over the city, calm and powerful. The soldiers whispered in fear. Elias's hand shook, not from fear, but from understanding. The dragon was not attacking. It was observing. He remembered the stories from old archives, hints of a plan to evolve humanity, to save it from destruction. Could this creature be the result of that plan? Could it be human? Elias pushed the thought away. There was no time for wonder, no time for questions. His orders were clear. Yet deep down, he knew his path had changed. The dragon was more than a threat. It was a force beyond comprehension, something that could change everything. And as he watched it rise into the night sky, leaving trails of glowing light across the ruins, Elias realized that his mission had become more complicated than he could have ever imagined. He had been sent to hunt a monster, but now he wondered if he was the one being hunted, not by the dragon, but by the truth it carried. And in the silence that followed, broken only by the whisper of the wind and the faint glow of life returning to the city, Captain Elias understood one terrifying fact. The creature he had been sent to kill might be humanity's only hope. The thought filled him with both fear and determination. He would follow it, learn from it, and confront the choice that was coming. A choice that would decide the fate of all humans. And in the darkness, beneath the red sky, the dragon waited, patient, powerful, and alive, ready to reveal the secrets that no one had ever imagined. Captain Elias could not stop thinking about the dragon. Every movement it made, every glowing footprint, seemed to carry a message he could not understand. He felt a pull, a strange need to uncover the truth. The soldiers under his command whispered constantly, afraid, unsure, but Elias knew he had to go deeper. He remembered an old archive beneath the ruins, a place few had dared to enter. It was said to contain records from centuries ago, before the world had fallen into chaos. Some called it the memory of humanity, a place where answers to impossible questions might be hidden. Elias led his team through dark tunnels beneath the city. The walls were cracked, damp, and covered with faded symbols that hinted at forgotten science and lost knowledge. The air was thick with dust, but Elias pressed forward, driven by curiosity and an unshakable sense of purpose. When they reached the heart of the archive, massive doors stood in their way, engraved with warnings about what lay beyond. Elias ignored them. With a steady hand, he pushed the doors open. Inside, the room was enormous, filled with rows of old computers, books, and strange devices that seemed to hum with silent energy. The air smelled of old paper, metal, and something almost alive. The team spread out cautiously, searching through the records. Elias's eyes fell upon a digital archive that flickered to life at his touch. The screen displayed files labeled Project Ascension, a name that made his heart pound. He began to read, learning that humanity had once faced extinction not just from war, but from disease, pollution, and the collapse of nature. A group of scientists, centuries ago, had decided to create a solution, a transformation. They wanted to evolve humans into beings capable of surviving the harsh new world, to unlock a form of life beyond ordinary flesh. The record spoke of energy, fire, and life that could reshape the body and mind. Elias felt chills run down his spine. Could the dragon be the result of this project? The files showed diagrams of creatures that looked half human, half something beyond description. They were powerful, intelligent, and capable of controlling energy in ways humans had never imagined. One file caught his attention. It described the final evolution, the ultimate form that would preserve human consciousness while giving the body strength and abilities far beyond any ordinary human. And then, there it was, a photograph that made Elias's hands tremble. The dragon. It was the same creature he had seen above the ruins, captured in a moment of study centuries ago. Its glowing eyes, its massive wings, its scales of fire, they were all exactly the same. A note beside the image read, "Not a monster. Humanity's final hope." Elias looked at the soldiers around him. They did not understand the significance, but he could feel it deep in his chest. This was no simple beast to be hunted. This was something humanity had created to survive, something that had waited centuries to appear. He felt a mix of awe and fear. If the dragon was the result of Project Ascension, then everything he had believed about monsters and heroes was wrong. The creature was not an enemy, it was the future. Yet questions remained. Why had it appeared now? Why had it waited so long? Elias scrolled through more records, reading about experiments that had gone wrong, humans who had disappeared, and creatures that had transformed too early and died. The dragon had survived when others had not. It had become something new, something powerful. As he read, Elias began to understand the dragon's behavior. It did not attack without reason. It only came near the dying, the sick, the hopeless. It carried them, in a way, into the next stage of existence. The thought both frightened and fascinated him. Could it be true? Could death, the end of life, be a beginning instead? The hum of the old devices grew louder, filling the archive with a vibration that seemed alive. Elias felt the dragon's presence in his mind, distant but undeniable. It was calling to him, guiding him to understand. He knew now that the creature was watching, learning, waiting for humans to be ready. And perhaps, just perhaps, it had chosen him. Outside the archive, the ruins were quiet, but Elias could sense movement. The dragon was near, its glow faint but persistent. He closed the records and stood, feeling the weight of knowledge pressing on him. The soldiers were uneasy, sensing his change in mood. "Captain," one whispered. "What is it? What did you find?" Elias looked at them, his eyes filled with determination and fear. "Something beyond anything we imagined," he said. "The dragon, it is not a monster. It is the result of humanity's last hope. It is our final evolution." Silence fell. The soldiers did not know how to respond. Elias felt a strange excitement mixed with terror. Everything was about to change. And in that moment, he understood the truth he had been searching for. The dragon was not here to destroy. It was here to complete what humans had started centuries ago. To transform the weak, the dying, and perhaps, one day, all of humanity. But the question that remained, the question that would haunt him forever, was this. Would humans accept the truth, or would fear drive them to destroy their own future before it could begin? Elias stepped outside the archive, looking at the glowing sky. The dragon hovered above the city, wings spread wide, eyes burning with knowledge and power. Elias felt a shiver run down his spine. He knew that the next steps would decide the fate of humanity. And as he watched, he understood something he had never felt before. He was no longer hunting a monster. He was standing at the threshold of humanity's greatest transformation, and the choice he made next could change everything. The dragon was waiting. And so was the future. Captain Elias and his squad moved cautiously through the ruined city, every step heavy with tension. The dragon's presence was near, though no sound or movement could confirm it. Only the faint glow in the sky hinted at its location, painting the ruins in colors of fire and gold. Soldiers whispered among themselves, voices trembling. Some wanted to turn back, but Elias pressed forward. He could feel the creature calling him, pulling him toward the unknown. As they reached the center of the city, a wide plaza lay before them. Crumbled statues and broken fountains filled the space, but in the middle, there was nothing, no sign of the dragon. Elias signaled the squad to spread out. Every instinct screamed at him that it was watching, waiting. Then the ground vibrated beneath their boots. A low hum filled the air, growing louder, wrapping around them like an invisible force. The soldiers froze, eyes wide with fear. From the shadows, a massive silhouette appeared, its wings stretching across the plaza like dark mountains. The dragon had arrived. Elias's breath caught. It did not roar or attack. Instead, it stood perfectly still, eyes glowing like molten gold, observing them. For a long moment, neither side moved. The soldiers gripped their weapons tightly, ready to fire. Elias raised his hand. "Hold," he whispered. "Watch." The dragon tilted its head, and in that instant, Elias felt something impossible. A voice, not spoken aloud but echoing directly in his mind, clear and calm. "Do not fear me, Elias." He stumbled back slightly, heart racing. I can hear you," he whispered. The dragon's mind spoke again. "I am not your enemy. I am your future." Shock and disbelief ran through Elias's mind. He glanced at his soldiers. None of them could hear the voice. Only he could. The soldiers grew restless. "Captain," one shouted. "It's a monster. Shoot it." Elias shook his head. "No. Listen." He took a deep breath, trying to calm himself. The dragon's eyes seemed to pierce into his very thoughts, showing him visions he could barely comprehend. He saw humanity's past mistakes, wars, pollution, famine, and then glimpses of what could be. Cities restored, forests thriving, people living in harmony with nature and themselves. It was not destruction. It was evolution. The soldiers shifted nervously, their fingers tightening on triggers. Elias knew they would not understand. He was alone in this connection, chosen to witness what they could not. Why appear now? He asked, speaking into the silence. The dragon's reply came as a thought, a gentle pulse of understanding. The time has come for humanity to see its path. The world is dying, and yet hope remains. Elias felt a strange warmth spread through him. For centuries, humans had feared the unknown, destroyed what they could not control. Now, standing before the dragon, he realized how little they understood. The creature was not a monster. It was something beyond, something humanity had once dreamed of but could not achieve. Suddenly, the soldiers shouted, firing their weapons. The dragon moved faster than any eye could follow, deflecting the bullets with wings that shimmered like fire. None were harmed. It did not attack in anger. It simply protected itself, watching Elias. Elias raised his hands, stopping his squad. Enough. Stand down, he commanded. The dragon's gaze softened. Another thought reached him. I give you a choice, Elias. Fight me, or understand me. Choose wisely. The fate of humanity depends on it. His heart pounded. The soldiers murmured in fear and confusion, but Elias knew what he must do. To fight the dragon would be to fight the future itself. He lowered his weapon, stepping forward. The dragon hovered closer, wings spreading light across the plaza. The air shimmered with energy, and Elias felt it enter his mind, filling him with visions of what humanity could become. The soldiers watched in awe, fear melting into wonder. Elias spoke aloud, though his voice trembled. I choose to understand. The dragon nodded, a movement filled with intelligence and ancient wisdom. It exhaled a warm, glowing mist, enveloping Elias. He felt his mind expand, understanding flowing into him. The dragon was not alone. It carried the knowledge, the memories, and the potential of all humans who had ever lived and transformed. Elias realized then that this was what Project Ascension had intended, the preservation and evolution of humanity through a being of power and intelligence. He looked at his soldiers, seeing fear in their eyes. This is not the end, he said. It is only the beginning. One by one, they lowered their weapons, unable to deny the truth they saw before them. The dragon's presence was calm, powerful, and alive, filled with wisdom and purpose. Elias felt a strange peace, tempered by fear. The world was on the edge of a new era, and he had witnessed its opening. The dragon spread its wings, lifting slightly above the plaza, and another thought entered Elias's mind. The choice has been made. Now, guide them, or they will destroy what is to come. Elias nodded. He understood. He was no longer just a soldier. He was a messenger, a witness, and perhaps a guardian of the future. The dragon descended slightly, allowing him to feel its warmth and power directly. The plaza glowed with light, reflecting the dawn of something humanity had never imagined. And in that moment, Captain Elias knew one terrifying, wonderful truth. He had confronted what the world had feared for centuries, and it was not a monster. It was humanity's next step. The choice now rested with him, and the consequences would echo for generations. Captain Elias stood in the glowing plaza, his mind still swirling from the encounter with the dragon. The air shimmered with energy, and for the first time, he saw the world not as ruins and despair, but as a place full of potential. The dragon hovered above him, calm and powerful, its eyes burning with intelligence and purpose. Then, a new thought entered Elias's mind, stronger than before. I will show you, the dragon said. Visions filled his mind, images of humanity's past, their wars, their greed, and their destruction. Cities fell, oceans poisoned, forests vanished. He saw humans struggling to survive, unable to undo the mistakes they had made. But then the vision shifted. Humans were learning, creating, growing. And among them, A group of scientists had made a decision centuries ago. They had chosen to change humanity, to protect it from extinction, to create a new form capable of surviving the harsh future. Elias gasped as he realized the truth. The dragon was the result of Project Ascension, the first successful evolution of humanity. Its body was a blend of human intelligence and extraordinary power, its mind carrying the memories of those who had gone before. The dragon was alive because humans had dared to dream beyond flesh and fear. Another vision appeared. Elias saw people dying near the dragon, and their bodies did not vanish, they merged with the creature. Their thoughts, memories, and essence became part of it. The dragon carried them, preserving the best of humanity while evolving beyond what humans could achieve alone. Elias staggered backward, trying to process it. You are humanity, he whispered. I am its next step, the dragon replied. Not all are ready to accept it, but I am here to guide them. The realization struck Elias with awe and fear. Every battle he had fought, every mission he had carried out, seemed insignificant compared to this revelation. Humanity had created a path to survival, but it had taken centuries for it to come to fruition. He looked at his soldiers, who still clutched their weapons, confused and afraid. How could he explain what he had seen? How could he make them understand that the creature they feared was the embodiment of humanity's hope? The dragon seemed to sense his thoughts. Fear will always exist, it said. But understanding is the choice of the mind. Only those willing to see can survive the change. Elias nodded slowly, feeling the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. If the leaders of the colony continued to fear the dragon, they could destroy it, and with it, humanity's only chance at survival. He realized that the next step was not just about fighting or hiding. It was about guiding humans to a new understanding, teaching them to accept what they could not yet comprehend. The visions continued. Elias saw humans living in harmony with nature, cities rebuilt with light and energy, diseases vanishing, and people reaching their full potential. All of it was possible because the dragon existed. It was not a monster, not a weapon, not a threat. It was the seed of evolution, a being that could carry humanity into a future they had once only dreamed of. Elias felt a strange mixture of hope and fear. Hope because he understood what could be achieved. Fear because humans were stubborn and fearful by nature. Not all would accept the dragon. Many would resist, attack, and try to destroy what they did not understand. And yet, he knew he had a choice. He could fight alongside fear, obeying orders to destroy what must live, or he could embrace the dragon, becoming a bridge between humanity's past and its future. His thoughts were interrupted by the low hum of the dragon's wings. It moved closer, its gaze fixed on him. The choice is yours, it said. Guide them, or watch them destroy themselves. Elias swallowed hard. He understood now why the dragon had appeared. It had not come to attack, to kill, or to dominate. It had come to reveal the truth, to show humanity what it had become and what it could become. And he was the first to see it, the first to understand. He looked at the city, at the broken streets, the ruined buildings, and the small signs of life returning. He felt the presence of the dragon all around him, carrying the memories and essence of thousands who had merged into it. And he realized that this was only the beginning. The future was not yet written, and humanity's survival depended on choices made in this moment. Elias clenched his fists, determination flooding him. He would not let fear destroy what had taken centuries to create. He would protect the dragon, defend it, and guide those who could understand. Others might resist, but he would stand firm. The dragon exhaled a warm, shimmering mist, surrounding him with light. In that light, Elias felt himself connected to something greater, a force that carried hope, knowledge, and the essence of humanity itself. He felt the responsibility settle on his shoulders, heavy but undeniable. The dragon's voice echoed one final thought in his mind: humanity's end was never written. Its future is a choice. Choose wisely, Elias. He nodded, understanding fully for the first time that the dragon was not a threat. It was the answer to centuries of fear, greed, and failure. It was humanity's final evolution, and it had come to show him the way. Elias looked up at the glowing sky, the dragon hovering above him, wings spread wide. The red light that had once filled him with fear now seemed alive with possibility. He knew the world would never be the same. And in that moment, Captain Elias understood the full truth. The dragon carried the future of humanity in its fire, its wings, and its mind. And he had the choice to protect it, or watch everything humanity had ever known vanish forever. Captain Elias stood in the ruined plaza, the dragon hovering above him, wings spread wide and glowing softly in the dim light. The soldiers around him shifted nervously, their weapons ready but their faces pale with fear. The colony leaders had arrived, their voices sharp with authority and panic. "Destroy it," one shouted. "It is a monster. Kill it now before it kills all of us." Elias looked at them, heart heavy. They did not understand, could not understand. The dragon was not a monster. It was the next step of humanity, the result of centuries of science, hope, and sacrifice. The choice lay before him, a single, terrifying decision that could change the fate of every human alive. The leaders gestured angrily, demanding action. Soldiers tightened their grips on rifles, aiming at the glowing creature that had already shown it could defend itself easily. Elias felt the weight of every life in the city pressing down on him. If he acted against the dragon, all hope would be lost. If he protected it, he would go against every order, risking his life and the lives of those who trusted him. The dragon's eyes met his, golden and burning with intelligence. Another thought entered Elias's mind, calm and steady. Do not let fear destroy what has taken centuries to create. Guide them, or they will destroy themselves. He swallowed hard, feeling a surge of determination. The leaders shouted again, but Elias raised his hand. "No," he said, his voice strong, cutting through their panic. "We will not destroy what is our only hope. This is not a monster. It is humanity's next step." Confusion and anger erupted around him. Soldiers murmured, unsure whether to obey him. The leaders glared, disbelief on their faces. Elias's chest ached with fear, but he could not turn back. He took a step forward toward the dragon. The creature exhaled a warm, shimmering mist, and Elias felt its energy wash over him, calming the storm of doubt in his mind. He knew then what he had to do. He would protect the dragon, defend it against fear and ignorance, and show humanity what it could become. A soldier raised his rifle, ready to fire. Elias stepped between him and the dragon, placing a hand on the weapon. "Stop," he shouted. "Do you not see? This is not destruction. This is life. This is our future." The soldier hesitated, eyes wide with uncertainty. Elias looked around at the others, some lowering their weapons, some still frozen with fear. He felt the dragon's presence inside his mind, guiding him, giving him courage. The colony leaders continued to shout, their fear louder than reason. "You cannot stop us," one screamed. "It will kill us all if you protect it." Elias shook his head, speaking calmly but firmly. "You do not understand. It is not here to kill. It is here to show us what we can become. To destroy, it is to destroy ourselves." The dragon tilted its head, wings glowing brighter. Elias stepped closer, feeling the connection grow stronger. The dragon's thoughts filled him with visions of humanity restored, cities alive with light, nature healed, and people living in harmony. He knew this was real. He knew he had to choose the right path, no matter the cost. The leaders shouted one last time, but Elias was ready. He signaled to the soldiers who still hesitated, showing them the truth in his eyes. Slowly, one by one, they lowered their weapons. Some still looked afraid, but others saw what he saw, a chance at survival, a chance at life beyond fear. Elias turned to the leaders. "It is your choice too," he said. "You can fight the future, or you can guide it. I will not destroy what can save us all." The dragon moved closer, wings folding slightly, its gaze calm and knowing. It waited, patient, giving Elias the courage to stand firm. The leaders faltered, realizing that their fear was not enough to overcome the truth. The dragon exhaled again, mist swirling around Elias, filling him with strength and clarity. He understood fully now that this was no longer about soldiers or orders. It was about humanity itself. To protect the dragon was to protect the future, to embrace evolution and hope instead of fear and destruction. Elias felt a surge of determination. He would stand against anyone who threatened it. He would guide humans to understanding, even if they resisted. The weight of responsibility pressed down on him, but he welcomed it. He had chosen. The dragon's glow grew brighter, reflecting the clarity of Elias's decision. It was no longer just a creature in the ruins. It was a symbol of what humanity could become, and he was its guardian. Soldiers and leaders watched, some trembling, some beginning to understand. Elias stepped forward, raising a hand to signal the dragon to rise. It did, wings spreading fully, casting light across the plaza and the ruined city beyond. He felt its power, its wisdom, and its patience flowing into him. The choice had been made. He would protect the dragon, and in doing so, he would protect humanity's chance at survival. Fear and anger were still present, but they would no longer control the outcome. Elias knew that guiding humans to acceptance would be the next challenge, but he was ready. The dragon's presence filled the city with warmth and light. For the first time in decades, Elias felt hope, real and strong. Humanity had been given a chance to rise, and he would not let it slip away. Standing before the dragon, he understood one final truth. The future was no longer written by fear, by destruction, or by ignorance. The future would be shaped by courage, understanding, and the choice to embrace what they could not yet fully comprehend. And Captain Elias, the soldier who had faced the unknown, had made that choice. Captain Elias stood in the glowing plaza, the dragon hovering above him like a living sun. The city around them was quiet, the ruins bathed in a warm, shimmering light. Soldiers and leaders watched from a distance, some in fear, some in awe, unable to comprehend what they were witnessing. Elias felt the dragon's presence inside his mind, calm and powerful, carrying the weight of centuries and the essence of countless humans. He knew that this moment would decide everything. The dragon tilted its head, eyes glowing brighter than ever. A thought entered Elias's mind, clear and strong. It is time. He took a deep breath, feeling energy coursing through him, filling him with life, knowledge, and understanding beyond anything he had ever imagined. The dragon lowered its wings slightly, exhaling a warm, golden mist that enveloped him completely. Elias felt his body change, his mind expand. Memories of humanity's past, visions of the future, and the essence of those who had become part of the dragon flowed into him. He gasped, feeling both fear and exhilaration. His hands tingled, his heart raced, and he could feel strength unlike any he had known. When the mist cleared, he stood taller, his body glowing faintly, energy dancing along his skin. Wings, smaller but strong, stretched from his back, and his eyes burned with golden light, reflecting the dragon's own power. He was no longer just a human. He was part of the dragon, part of humanity's final evolution. Soldiers stared in shock, unable to move, some dropping their weapons. Leaders whispered, fear and wonder battling in their minds. Elias looked down at them, understanding the weight of what he had become. He raised a hand, not in attack, but in reassurance. "This is our future," he said, voice steady and strong. "Not destruction, not fear, but evolution. We can survive. We can grow. But only if we accept it." The dragon exhaled once more, wings spreading wide, lighting the city like a beacon. Elias felt a connection to it, a deep bond that carried knowledge, wisdom, and purpose. He could feel the presence of the humans who had become part of the dragon, guiding him, teaching him, giving him courage. Together, they were stronger, smarter, and alive in ways no ordinary human could be. A murmur ran through the soldiers and leaders. Some were afraid, but others began to understand. They could see the dragon, see Elias transformed, and feel the truth. Humanity's survival depended on embracing what they could not yet fully understand. Elias stepped forward, spreading his wings slightly, feeling the power in every movement. The dragon descended closer, its massive wings brushing against the plaza, a protective guardian and partner. "The choice is yours," Elias said, addressing the crowd. "You can fight this new path, or you can embrace it. But know this: to destroy it is to destroy hope itself. To reject evolution is to reject survival." Silence fell. The city, the ruins, the glowing light, all seemed to hold their breath. Slowly, some soldiers knelt, acknowledging the truth in Elias's words. Others lowered their weapons, unable to deny what they saw. A few still resisted, fear twisting their faces, but Elias knew it was not their decision alone. The dragon and he would guide those willing to follow, and those unwilling. Time would reveal their choice. The wind shifted, carrying the faint smell of life returning to the city. Plants grew faster, cracks in the pavement healed, and water shimmered in golden light. Birds returned, circling above, and small animals appeared from hiding. The dragon's energy spread outward, healing, protecting, and teaching, and Elias felt it flow through him as well. He realized then that this was only the beginning. Humanity would face resistance, fear, and doubt, but they had been given a chance to rise. The dragon was not a weapon. It was a teacher, a guide, and Elias its first student. He looked at the city, at the people beginning to gather in cautious awe, and felt a surge of hope. The world could be rebuilt, stronger and wiser than before. The dragon tilted its head once more, eyes locking with Elias's. A thought entered his mind, simple but powerful: lead them well. Show them the way. Elias nodded, understanding his role. He was no longer just a soldier. He was a guardian of humanity's future, a bridge between what had been and what could be. Together, he and the dragon would guide the next stage of evolution. Slowly, the dragon lifted into the sky, golden wings cutting through the red and orange light of dawn. Elias followed, rising beside it, feeling the strength of generations and the essence of life itself coursing through him. Below, humans watched, some falling to their knees in reverence, others shielding their eyes against the brilliant glow. The world was changing, and they could either accept it or be left behind. Elias felt a profound sense of peace. Fear still existed, but it no longer controlled him. The choice had been made, and he had embraced it fully. The dragon soared higher, wings stretching wide, and Elias rose beside it, a new form, a new being, carrying humanity's hope and power. He could feel the energy of the world flowing through him, connecting him to every living thing, every memory, every possibility. For the first time, he understood what it meant to evolve, to become more than human, to become a guardian of the future. And as he looked down at the city below, glowing with life and light, he knew one undeniable truth: the dragon was no monster. It was humanity's final evolution, and he was now part of it. The future was no longer uncertain. It had arrived, carried on wings of fire, light, and hope.